Okay, record button is on. And let's just take a look at one or two other dollar crosses and see what's going on. Wow, that really took off.
Yeah, and did.
Let's go out to the 1 hour and just see, because usually, price will come right back where it was after all the excitement, if unless it was really bad miss. But we'll see. This seems to be the area here. But while that's doing its thing, I'm going to talk briefly about this stochastic setup down here. Let's see what else is going on. Let me just scan these. I think I marked. Oh no, this is a different chart. Nothing there. I'm just looking to see if there's anything really good. We probably need another 10 minutes for it to settle down. This looks good. CAD yen. CAD down there, and yen is just a hair above it, and so that explains this chop here. Pound dollar. Oh, 1 hour chart. Let's go down to a 15 and a 5 and see what's going on. Same thing. This is just going to be one big ass candle no matter what we do. Pound dollar is still really strong. Let me go out to a 1 hour and just see where this level is. Go out to a 4 hour. And this is not much of anything here. We may get a nice run up to this 53. I don't see anything in here as any real form of resistance except for this R1. Let's go back down to the 5, but we need to let it settle down a little bit. All right, so we just tagged the R1 and came back. And we'll let that roll around a bit. All right, so on this stochastic thing, this is something I like. I like looking at this on the 15 and the 1 primarily. I sometimes jump to the 5 minute, but usually it's the 15 and the 1. And let me shoot this all the way up. And this is a good 358 scalping method also. What we have here are two stochastics on the chart. We have two separate stochastics. This one is set to 211, and I'll move that out a little bit, but for now I wanted the real dramatic thing so you could see the idea here. I made these levels gray. You can make them, whatever color you want. That's the 80. I mean the 20, the 50, and the 80. In the colors, what I did was the main stochastic is dark blue. That's this one. The signal is none. So I didn't want the signal line. Didn't need the signal line. Okay. And parameters again 822, low, high, simple. And that's this dark blue line. The red dotted line is a second stochastic laid on top of the first one. So you have to drag it over here twice. This is a 34, 13, and 3. All right. And on the colors here, on this time, I didn't need the red. I really wanted, not the red. I wanted the signal line. Okay, which is the line that we look for normally as the crossing line. And here I have the signal line on this one on the long-term stochastic. All right, and I'm using the main line on the short-term stochastic. And I go back to the settings again. All right, and it's a really simple. There's some subtleties you have to look at with everything, as with everything else. But the simplicity of it, once you get accustomed to it, is pretty decent. So I'm on a 15-minute chart. And essentially what I'm looking for is for this long-term stochastic to pick a direction. And that's usually when it closes below the 80 or when it crosses the 50. So in this case, it closed below the 80 here and it's sloping down. So what I want to do then is to take, I prefer these. All right, I'll do these first and then I'll come back to the small ones. So I want every peak and break of the 80 once the long-term stochastic starts to fall. So I'm going to mark this. I can't see the chart. I'm going to mark this. Can't see the chart. And I'm going to mark, well, no, right. This one here is more like no man's land because now the stochastic has started to turn up. So in this case, I might want to take this one. All right. Or even better, this one on the way up because the long-term stochastic is turning up. So let me mark this one. I'll mark the extreme ones first. All right. Everybody get the premise there?
Yep.
Any questions on that so far? All right. So now what I'll do is, since we can't see the candles, I'll drag the candles down. And you'll see that this would have been a nice short trade. And again, we're looking for 5, 8s, and 10s. All right. This would have been a decent short trade here. And again, looking for 5, 8s, and 10s. And here, when the stochastic started to turn, the long-term stochastic, I'm going to get tongue-tied on this a few times today, so bear with me. This would be where I'd start looking for peaks going long, which is right here. All right. And I don't know what the outcome of that was. Okay, that could have been a 5 or a 10. Oh, that was 19. All right. So you see the premise there. It's really, really quite simple, and it's a good and 5/8 pip scalper. And what I like to do is usually go to a 1 minute when I see a certain type of situation where I don't have one here at the moment, but we'll find one during the course of the day. Uh, the key here is when this breaks, if it breaks on a green candle, and there are times when it can, because if you remember that the percent K is looking for prices to have closed over 80% of the last 14 candles. I'm saying that incorrectly. Yeah, let's assume this was set to 14. The percent K line is looking for closes below the last 14 candles is what I should say, because we're in a downtrend. All right, and this 80 represents 80% of the time these candles closed below the last 14. And if you look at this particular point right here, all right, and if you were to count back candles, you'll see this particular point is basically below most of these candles, or at least 80% of the time. The signal line, the one that we look for the cross, is usually a 3-period average of the main line. All right, and I don't want to get too technical on it, but it would be a 3-period average of the 14 of the percent K. Um, everybody with me on that? I don't want to get too far uh, into that at the
Yeah, you're
moment.
geeking me out, but I'm okay.
All right.
So what's the MA on the chart?
Well, now you shouldn't even ask me that after all this time.
Oh, that's an 18. All right, I didn't know whether you're on a 55 or anything like
Oh,
that.
no, 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 no. That's a good question, valid question. But I like my 18, and it
Yeah, yeah, okay. Yep.
travels with me.
Who's hung
Mm-hmm.
up on those 18-year-olds or something? I don't know.
Yeah, it could be has a the barely legals or whatever. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick. Let's pick something. Someone give me a pair.
Aussie dollar.
Aussie dollar, and I'm going to slide this up, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. So now we have over here we had a downturning stochastic.
Yeah.
All right. So I want this one as a short. Uh, I want that as a short trade. We still have a downturning stochastic. I'll take this as a short trade. Now I'm going to mark these intermediates. With the intermediates, usually you'll want to see a little more confirmation. Now, this is sort of no man's land because if I put a horizontal line at the bottom of this stochastic, you'll see that the stochastic slightly turned up right here,
Yeah.
even though we have a downward peak. So there you'd have to look at your candle patterns and then make a decision. All right, so I'm going to mark this one with an intermediate trend line like that. So we know this is something we need to make a decision on. All right. Now our stochastics is starting a nice slow climb up. So we will take a look. I wish I could change the color quickly, but I can't. We would like to take a long trade here. All right. And let me see. Let's do it this way. Properties, and I'll make that yellow for a long. We'd like to take a long trade here. Stochastics is still climbing up. So we'd like to have a long here, and we're looking for scalps. Still climbing. We'd like to take a long here. Now, we might not be in every one of these trades, obviously. And obviously a long trade here. Now, I can't see the candles, and you know, that's an important part of this to understand how the indicators work. And here we have two crosses down that are definitely overbought, but you see they're countering our general uptrend. So I'm going to put two marks here for these. That these are, we'd have to really see what the candle patterns are doing there. Are we at a support and resistance, or do we have, you know, one of the candle patterns we like? All right, let me make this shorter too, so they're all the same. All right, any questions on why I placed these markers where I did?
No, it's all clear.
All right, so now I'm going to bring these candles down. And as you can see here, this was a nice short trade. We had a downward sloping stochastic, and we're looking at 5s to 8s, and there was 10. And again, I'm on a 15-minute chart. I will go to the 1 on occasion. Here, our stochastics started to slope up. You see that? And the yellow is the up, and then this would have been a nice long trade here. And here, our stochastics was sloping up, and we didn't get a green candle. I'll explain that in a minute. But what we're looking for is a green candle. And this is that situation I mentioned earlier, where we have an upward indication for a trade, but we never got a green candle to indicate it's time to go.
Yeah.
All right.
How
So
did your MA come into it there, Lou? Sorry, because you had a long before, which was a good long.
well, let me take this off for the minute, because you don't really need the MA. I just happen
Oh,
to.
okay. Because because if it was below the MA and you were long, so that's why I was just
Yeah.
asking.
No. I'll put it back on later.
Yep.
So now here's our second mark here. And usually I'd like to see a green candle after either the first or second bar. If I don't get a green candle, then the trade is off. It's a dead issue. I don't want it. All right.
Okay.
So here's our long trade, but we have red candles, and we ended up with two shorter candles.
Yeah.
And again, I would walk away from this, even though it did go long beautifully right here.
Yeah.
All right. And the idea is you won't get every trade, but the ones you get are going to be very high probability. So here we have an upward stochastic.
Yeah.
And it happened on a red candle, on a down candle. So what I wait for is for that next, I wait for the next green candle on either number 1 or number 2. I want to see a green candle on number 1 or number 2, and then take that long.
Okay.
All right. So now let me go back over the settings again. The blue line here is the fast. Well, I won't call it fast stochastic. It's a stochastic with a faster setting. So 80% of the time, we're looking for prices to close over the last 2 candles. You know what? Let me just stop saying that, because that may throw you off for a bit. And then the slowing is a 1, and the percent D is a 1 period average of that. But never mind. So the colors, again, I made that dark blue. It doesn't matter what the colors are, really. And levels 80, 20, 80, and 50. All right. The signal, or what I'm using in this case for the MACD main line, is actually the signal from the higher time frame. Got it? So I'm using the signal from the longer MACD, which is the 34, and the percent D is a 3-period moving. I said I was going to stop it. 34, 13, and 3. Low, high. Simple. Close that. All right. So again, when you get your marker, now this is my marker here for a long trade, but and it happened on a red candle, I have to have a green candle in one of the next two candles to take that trade. So that
Okay.
was cool. Here I had a long trade here, but in the next two candles, I didn't get a long candle. Trade is off, it's dead. I got another signal here, and then I marked these at the point, not at the, I marked them at the arrowhead, as I like to call it, and not at the actual crossover. Okay. And then here I got my long candle right there.
And the close of that would you go long.
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't need anything else on the chart, except, a decent understanding of, your candles, that sort of thing. So here we have two short trades based on how we're taught to look generally at stochastics, this one and this one. Okay, but we have a rising stochastic, so we're not interested in those.
Okay.
You follow what I'm saying? This one I'll take, this one I'll take, this one I'll take, and this one I'll take, but we never got a trade.
And
Because
even though
that's,
you're in 15 minute, you're looking for 3, 5, or 8.
yeah. Oh, you can go for more. That's what the 18 was for. You can certainly go for more, but because this stochastic is set so fast, even if you did a roller coaster and went from the bottom to the top, this is set so fast, you might only get 4 or 5 candles in there, and if they're range bound, you wouldn't get much profit. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yes,
Oh, go ahead.
I said, yes, we see. All right. Okay, so that's an old rock and roll song. Never mind.
Okay. Um,
I'll send
so,
it to you.
all right. Okay, good. Now here we have our now once we go back above 80 into the overbought area into the overbought area. I'm getting tongue tied again. Once where our stochastic is overbought, then we can start looking at these peaks to go short. You got me? We can start, but again, remember your candle patterns and everything else. Like this trade, if you decided to take a shot at this one, all right, it might not have panned out. One thing you can do here is when this comes up above the, let me open this up so you can see it. When this starts to rise above the 80 level, you wait for it to start to make its first downturn. When you're not sure, just put your crosshair right on top of it. And you can see where it went up, hit the crosshair, and turned down. That's all you have to do is just put the crosshair there.
Yep.
But you wait for this turn. Now, after this turn, you could start to look for short trades. All right. And you had a potential here. Where are we? Right here, but you need the red candle. And this may not have turned into much. Oh, that was 8. Okay. You had another one here. Another one here. And let me just see, and another one here. Now, as we come down, now a couple of these didn't pan out, and that's you're not going to get every single trade. When we get below here, below the 80, and this starts to slope down, if you see it dancing or meandering in the 80, you may be in a sideways market. Then what you might want to do is wait for it to close back below the 50, and then it will usually head back down to the 20 after a while. But what we're looking for are really like A setups, clean, simple to see setups. Let me get rid of these objects, and then we'll look at another pair.
You get divergence on that as well, Lou, don't you?
Oh, I was going to get into the divergences too. Objects list. Why do I not see this?
It's there underneath indicators.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what the. Let me hope I don't delete the.
Yeah, that's all right.
All right, close. All right. So let's close this up a little bit. Gee, I could make this a little bit easier to see. That doesn't have to be a dotted line. Make it solid and make it like that. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. All right, let's open this up. Now, because the markets have been so tight, even with this, you may come across some situations where it's uh, not ideal. I lost my train of thought. There's something I wanted to say. Oh, did this take my boxes off? Ah, doo doo. It did. It took my boxes off. I didn't want that. My iParamount.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because again, I like to look at this at the first couple of hours of each market session. It's generally a very good indicator that you've got some thrust and energy in the market. Oh, there we go. It came back on. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful news. Um, okay, so here we are on our 15. We've got a rising major RSI. As long as it's above this 50 and moving up, we're looking at rising. So this I want because the other thing too is like you like to see these at opposites. You got me?
Yep.
You want to see these at opposites. So this would be your signal here, but it happened on a red candle. You wait for the next green candle and then you're off to the races. All right. And then you have a secondary signal here. You have a third indary signal. I made that word up. A third indary signal here. Okay. And that's complemented by rising peaks. Okay. One low peak, higher peak, higher peak keeps you in the trade. Here we have another peak. We're at opposites. But in the next two candles, you really didn't get a convincing. I wouldn't have been too keen on this bar. You got me? To go long on. I wouldn't have wanted that. And then we have another one here. Well, that's actually a downturn, and you don't want that. Let's go into the three. Now here we have a slightly downward RSI, stochastics rather. So I'm looking for downturns now. So this could be a possible downturn. This could be a possible downturn. This could be a possible downturn because we're following the longer term stochastic. And again, you'd like to see the right color bar within two candles. Let's go back. All right. Now, here's that situation where we are well above the overbought. So we can start thinking now of short trades at this point. All right. And we have a possible short here, possible short here. We're another possible short, but we go 1-2 candles. We never got a trade signal. We go over, and now we have this one, and now we have a short right here. And the other thing you'll notice is that your stops can be really, really tight, which is the other reason I like this. And we're on a 15-minute chart, so, and I'm usually like 10 or 12 pips plus the spread. So this is well within reason on a 15-minute chart as far as a stop loss is concerned. And again, remember, I tend to be cheap with my stop losses. All right. So now we have this downward sloping RSI. And again, we want to, I keep saying RSI because I'm stochastic. All right. And then we wait for the red candle. We got our red candle here. And this stop is 10 plus the spread. Okay, about a 13. That would have been close. But the idea is that you can keep relatively close stops and still, make your mark. All right, let's pick another pair. Anyone?
Pound dollar.
I think we did that already, but we'll give it another look.
We did Aussie dollar before.
Oh, okay, pound dollar then. Okay, so beginning of the day here, whatever day this is, I don't know, but you can see we're at the oversold, and now we have a rising RSI.
Yep.
So here's our signal here, 1, 2. Okay, this is our signal here, and you have to see it in real time. Then 1, 2, that's our signal to go long right there. All right, and let's say like a 13, 15 pip stop, which is plenty on a 15-minute chart. You know, you're looking pretty good. You've got a second signal here. We still have a rising RSI. So you've got a signal here, a peak. Now the signal is that when it bounces and actually curls up at the close. And I'll show you that in a minute on a 1-minute chart. It bounces and curls up at the close. Okay, so 1, 2, we end up with our green candle and another bounce and close. So this is our entrance long here. Here's another entrance long here. Here's another entrance long here, but it's outside of our zone, but you get the idea. You follow that long-term RSI with this. And now part of the purpose with this was that some people weren't really good at uh, reading a lot of various candle formations or whatever. And this made it easy. As long as you got the hook, you can go up and take a look. And if it's the right color, take the trade. But it did end up being a pretty decent way to take some trades anyway. Now I want to go to real time and explain that hook, what I mean by that. And let's go down to a 1-minute chart. If I go too fast, you know, say something. Okay, so now I'm going to mark, you'll notice exactly where the edge of this line is right there. You see that? How that follows that line all the way up and down? If this candle went 80 pips long, this portion of it would not pass that, well, and then you see when the next candle starts, that's finished. That went kind of quick. So let me move this one over. Now you see, look how, no matter how far this goes, this marker right here will never pass this yellow line. Let me open this up so it can be a bit more evident. See that? It will follow that line. When this candle is finished, then this line will project beyond the yellow line. Our signal line will project beyond the yellow line, and this hook right here is permanent. That's locked in. That's not going anywhere. So at the end of the 1-minute candle, you'll see what I mean. And while we're waiting for that,
It just happened.
oh, it just happened. Okay, so now this hook is permanent. And now this is the new focal point, is this edge right here. All right, so when you see these hooks are permanent. They don't move. They're not going anywhere. Okay, in real time, while they're forming, you know, like similar to the arrows on the 5-5, if price goes above or below a certain point, the arrow will show up or you know, disappear. And again, in this case, we have a downward sloping stochastic. And here's our point right here. Here's our hook. And then, you know, you wait for the appropriate colored candle. All right. Again, here we're kind of flat here, nothing much going on. We still have a downward bias because we're below the 80, but you need to see everything line up. So then we get our hook here. There's our red candle right there. All right. Are there any questions about how this focal point works? This fulcrum is what it is. I just didn't want to use that word because it's hard to say.
Yeah, it's above my pay grade too.
Okay, so that should pretty much explain how most of these indicators work, by the way, so you can see when they pink the new data. All right, so we'll go back to our 15. It works on the higher time frames also. I happen to like the 15, and I have I'm trying to find my old stochastic indicator. I had an indicator made that when this broke below 80, it would give me a signal. When it broke below 50, it would give me a signal. And I think it's on my old computer. I have to dig it up, or maybe have someone make a new one for me. But this is a relatively simple way. Now, where the 15 comes in, or where the 1-minute comes in, is okay. Here we go. No, that's upward. So we're looking at this. Okay, good. You see right here we have how far back are we? Okay, good. You see here we have an upward a rising stochastics, and we have our arrowhead here. All right,
Yep.
but it's a red arrow, a red candle rather. So what I can do is mark this, and now I can go down to a 1 minute, and from that point start to look for a trade in that direction. And where is it? Oh, come on. Maybe we weren't that far back. Oh, there it is. Okay. So now on the 1 minute, I can start to look for trades in this direction from this point on. All right, you see that? And it gives me a number of choices. Now let me blow this up a little bit. Now here you can also, in combination with this, use what you already know. Okay, and this is a conditional candle, close more than 50% into the prior candle's body. All right, this is that 3 candle pattern, but we're only looking for longs at this point. All right, and we have a little bit of a price trap here. The stuff you already know, we have a bit of a price trap here. So now you can combine that with this signal and really get some nice entries with really, really tight stops. In this case, we're looking at maybe a 5 pip stop, 6 pip stop. And I almost always go to 10, but that's me. I know guys that trade this and something similar with very, very tight stops. But they'll only get maybe 3 trades a day across 5 or 6 pairs, but they're knocking 90%. You know, they've got that kind of patience, or they don't have a bunch of stuff to do during the day, one of the two. All right. Let's take a look at another pair. Anybody?
Dollar peso.
This one doesn't have the peso.
Okay, never mind.
No, well, I know a guy in Jersey that makes a killing on the peso, and it's got like
Yeah,
a
it's
100 pip
Daryl.
spread. No, well, I don't know, but it's got, well, back then it had like a 100 pip spread.
Yeah,
Uh,
but what
it
that
would
really means
move.
is a hundred pip spread means that's like 6 pips. That's the equivalent of it. But the average is on a high spread like a Wanda is about 4.5.
Oh, that's not so bad.
No,
No, not
it
at
just
all.
looks just looks bad.
Yeah, well, I can understand that. Um, what was I going to say? But he would chase it with limit orders the entire time. So, for instance, let's say the peso was right here. All right, so he's waiting for a break of this line to go short. He didn't get it, so he would just simply move his pending order up here. Wait for a break of this line, nothing. Move his pending order up here. Wait for a break of this or a close of this, whatever. And then he'd get this here. His stop would go out at the swing high, and then he'd be off the race. And that's all he did every day on the peso.
I can see that working.
Yeah, that's all he did every single day. Just chase the trend up, 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 up until it was over. I just didn't like the real big stops, and I didn't know enough about the peso to feel comfortable with it.
Did he
What
only
is he
take shorts though?
doing that in the hourly chart?
Hang on a second. 2 questions. Okay, first, Daryl, then Mike.
Oh,
Daryl,
he
what
was
was
doing
saying?
that on the hourly chart?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And Mike?
I said, was he only taking shorts?
Oh no, he would take long trades
No.
also.
Oh, okay, okay.
He would just follow the trend. That's all he wanted to do was follow the trend.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, okay, so now where were we? So if we're looking at this scenario right now, I'll just pick a real-time situation. We have a downward sloping stochastic. We have an opportunity here, but we need a red candle. There's our red candle, so we would be short right here. Okay, and we're looking for our 5 to 8s, and that was 17. All right, so you may not, and a lot of times you'll get pretty decent trades right at the beginning of the day. All right, and this is not a Christmas tree, but it's got a few colors in it. All right,
No,
and
it generally doesn't really move until New York Open.
let's say that again, please.
The peso,
Okay.
prior to the New York Open or 8 o'clock New York, it doesn't do too much generally.
Well, you're the expert. Like I said, I don't trade the peso. But I know a couple years ago it was just a massive mover.
Yeah, it still is.
Yeah. So here we had an upward sloping stochastic here because once you tap the bottom, then you can start thinking long. And here's our long trade here. This was another long trade here, and it didn't happen on that candle. You wait for the next candle. And there we got our long, then we got our secondary long trade there. And now it's starting to flatten out right here. Okay. You see right there where it starts to get flat. Now at
Mhm.
this point, if it closes below this 50 and I wait for the close, then I'd start entertaining short trades. But let's just scan some charts and see what we have in real time, if anything's occurring. Well, this one we saw already. All right. And I should actually open up a separate account to do this on, but um, this is downward sloping, but I need to see a close, over here. Again, same thing. We've got a downward slope, and we may be double bottoming here too. So remember, don't forget what you already know. So if this goes up and makes a peak down, then we need to wait to get that next red candle. Dollar CAD. Where are we here? We were downward. This was downward. The next candle wasn't a red candle, so there's nothing much there. And here we have a slightly upward, and that would have been a decent signal there. That should have been a 5 to 8. That was 19. The ranges are back to normal again, it looks like. That's a 116.
Lou, why does
Yeah.
the settings in the stochastic on in the subgraph show up differently than they do in this when you're setting the settings?
I don't know what you mean by that. Work with me here.
Well, okay, your stochastic 34,313, right?
Oh, that should be. Oh, yeah, that's right. 34,313. Yeah.
Yeah, but when you're setting it up, the first number is 34. The second number on the top line is 13, and 3 is the base number.
Oh, that may be a quirk in. Nope, that's right. 34,13,3.
Yeah.
Oh, but it shows up backwards here. Maybe they just do it in a different order here.
Maybe they're Chinese and they read top to bottom. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you know what that's like? Down here, if you wanted to find a specific, oh no, I can't do it that way. Where is that? Oh, maybe they took it out in the new version. Oh, gee. What pair were we on? Oh, I don't need all these charts open here now. Let me close this. Let me close this. There was a function that used to be in MetaTrader. If I wanted to go, oh, here it is. No. Oh, right there. If I wanted to move to a certain candle time, I couldn't use this layout, 13 November 8th. I couldn't use this. I had to reverse it. You know what I mean? And maybe they fixed it. So it's something I never noticed. Never paid that any attention.
Yeah.
Why that would be that way.
I've seen it, but I don't know what the hell. Who cares?
Okay, let me just see if they ever changed this or not. Okay, so that works. It did go to the 1 minute, to the 1 hour. Yeah, but it won't, I don't want to fart around with this right now anyway.
So that setting's correct then, Lou, with the 13 slowing, because that is quite unusual.
Yes, well, the whole thing is unusual.
Yeah.
But that is the setting, yeah.
Yeah.
And again, you can tweak this and no, let me go back to my regular number here. You can
That
tweak
reminds
this.
me a bit of Connor, that one.
Well, yeah, because I liked his two, but actually this should be a 3-2-2, 3 and 2-2. But to show it to you, I wanted to show you the real extremes. I wanted to show you lots of them. All right, so you see now this is a much different look now. Even this with its jagged edges is still a bit smoother.
Three,
All
two,
right.
two. Okay.
Yeah, and if you look on a 1 hour chart, it works pretty well. You know, you get some nice moves here on the 1 hour chart. But I'm kind of fond of the 221 personally.
Okay.
And here we have a downward sloping RSI. I keep saying it, and it's a stochastic, a downward sloping stochastic. And again, this peak happened on this candle. We wait for the next candle. We're short right here. All right.
Would you be trading more 10 or 15 pips on an hourly or something?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yes. And then and if I throw my 18 in, if I decide to follow the 18, um, or a 7. I used to like a 7 because a 7 would give you a kind of a pseudo trend line. Let me just throw a 7 in so you see what I mean.
Well, like a dynamic trend line kind of thing?
Yeah, it's a moving average, but it would follow it pretty close. Oh no, I have to go insert indicators, trend, moving average, and money flow index again. They still didn't fix this.
Yeah. Oh,
Here's the moving average. Okay, moving average, and this would be a 7 smoothed, and boom. And you see the 7 gives you, not quite a perfect trend line, but if I were to go across here, it's not bad either. If I wanted to follow that as a trend line, you follow what I'm saying?
Yep.
And you could tighten it up a little bit and make it a 5, but then we're right back to where we started. And if you wanted to use some of the non-lags or some of the what's his name? Aller, some of his moving averages really follow and give you nice pseudo trend lines. So,
I got a chuckle because about a couple weeks ago I started using the 8 smooth, but actually I'm using it as a target.
oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So
Yeah, same premise. You use it for what works for you.
that was my future memory kicking in.
All right. So now let's go back to where we were before. So that's where the 1 minute would come in if I see something that looked promising on the 1 minute. So right now I need to see a red candle. We've got a downward sloping. Let me get rid of this because if you look at it, it will create an issue. And here we have a slightly downward sloping. We got this peak here. It's a bit of a judgment call, but 1, 2, we didn't get a trade, so we're out of it. Or we don't enter the trade, I should say. All right. And this should be the 322. Yeah, that's the 322. And again, you can adjust this to better suit your needs, or you may find a setting on your broker that works better for you. Uh, excuse me, guys. Again, beginning of Asia, upward sloping uh, stochastic, and we've got our peak here, but we have to wait for this green candle right here, and then we're off to the races. All right. Now, the other thing here that becomes important too that you can take into effect is almost the same thing with a counter trend trade are your divergences. You'll get a lot more of them with these fast settings. Prices are higher. Okay, that's lower. And in this case, if you want to do the divergence, then you're going to wait for this to really close below this slow stochastic. And that's your divergence trade. And you can get plenty of them with this. That's the one nice thing about it. is that it will set you up nicely. Here's another one here where we've got our highs and then our lows here. All right. And then we get our downturn in here. Once we get this downturn on this red, well, we'd have to bring this here actually because we won't see that in real time. This is where that downturn occurred, and you've got your divergence set. So it lends itself to a number of different ways of trading it. The other aspect of this too, that if you're comfortable with it, is with the fast settings on the stochastic. You can also double check your trades by using trendline breaks. All right. So we'll just draw a couple of simple ones here. We went from this peak to this peak. All right. And here's our peak below, but there's our trendline break for a long trade.
Yeah.
Okay. With a rising, slower stochastic. All right, let's just shift this over here. We got a rising slower stochastic, so we want to look for an upward trend line break right there. Okay, there's our peak. All right, and it's a trend line break, and then that's another entry. So these things can, there are a couple of nice things on here that are real simple. You don't need other indicators. You do need to actually exercise your gray matter a little bit. And as always, if you come to a trade that doesn't look right, go to a different pair. Don't stay there and struggle trying to force you to create a trade that doesn't exist. Just go to another pair. It's a whole lot simpler to do that than it is to break your brain and try to be right. I want to be consistent. I'm not too concerned about being right on everything. Any questions on this? Anyone want to pick a chart or try to do some okay, no, I know it because I know you guys won't. Let's push this up. I'm going to push this out, and I'm going to go with Aussie yen. And let me just see something here. Okay, Phil, I want you to mark these entries based on what we just talked about. I know it's kind of trial by fire. Normally, I give you 2 or 3 days to kind of experiment with it. And tell us why you're doing what you're doing.
All right. Well, the long I can't even say it. Sit back. All right. Well, whatever.
Stop.
Well, as the long one is going up, yeah, it's going up. We're looking for the peaks below here.
All right.
For long trades?
All right.
Going below the 20.
Well, we'll mark 3 for now. This way we can go and take a look at them. Okay, and you missed a couple before then. That's well,
this is that one. Yeah.
Why?
Because this is starting to go down.
Excellent, excellent.
So this is kind of no man's land for that one, wouldn't you say? I'd say it's pretty flat.
Well, that's where you'd have to look at the candle formation.
Okay.
Like I said, you have to be, I started to say this yesterday, I forgot. The way I looked at these indicators, if I was locked in a room and couldn't get out until I could build a system only using stochastics, and I had no candles, no nothing, that's how I looked at it. And I did the same thing with MACD, RSI, Williams percent R, and all that stuff. So this is part of that exercise. But you have 2 others right before there if you see them.
Am I not going for are you saying like this one?
Right. Is there a reason you're not taking that one?
I just thought that, it kind of had to go below the long and then
well, those are ideal. Yeah. Below the line is ideal. But when you get those, if you remember, I mentioned you have successive higher highs, higher lows on those.
Mm-hmm.
See that? Successive higher lows means you may be in an uptrend. Because what constitutes an uptrend? Higher highs and higher lows make an uptrend. All right. So we'll mark the other one. All right. We'll start with those four.
Okay.
And
You
now
want me to
just
just
drag. Yeah, go
mark
ahead.
a
Go
couple of
ahead.
these?
Sure,
Okay.
sure, sure. Why not? Ah, this is much smoother. They must have improved something on this GoToMeeting. Remember when it used to be so cumbersome?
Yeah, there was a major upgrade about 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Okay, yeah, we had all that nonsense with sticking and delays and everything.
Yeah, this doesn't seem too bad.
No, not at all.
Oh,
All
that
right,
was FXCM too.
you comfortable with that? Yep. So let's drag the chart down and take a look. All right. So you see your first one there would have been a long. Remember, you have to wait for the appropriate candle.
So that would be our signal right there.
Right.
Yeah, right there.
Yep. And look at your second one.
So this was our signal. So would we enter on the close of this one
Or the open of it.
or the open because this one was green?
Well, yeah, you have to make sure that your hook is in place. So yeah, you can say at the close of the doji just to be safe.
Okay.
And once we see it a few times in real time. Now that's outside of our box.
Okay.
And that could have been a long trade because you got your red candle, your green, and then at the open of that next green one you could have taken it
hmm
because the cross happened on a green candle.
Now this one, like from right here, it looks like the stoke is like kind of coming down.
Yeah.
The long one, but
You're right.
I guess the entry would be here.
Yeah, and that would have. Well, again, go back to a 10 pip stop. Drag your stop down 10 or 12 pips. Okay, that would have been close. Got a 2 pip stop. But you see, you don't really need massive stops. I'm just not afraid of stops, so that's and that would be your a short trade there.
Oh, over here, yeah.
Yeah, and go up for your 12 pips, 10 pips. What pair?
So-
Aussian. Yeah, go up to 12 pip stop. Okay, and you see you're relatively safe.
Yeah.
And do you get your 5 or 8?
Yeah, you would have got your 10 almost.
Okay, let's go to the next one. And again,
Alright,
you have
so
to wait for the red candle.
that was the signal. This is the entry.
Measure.
Yeah, so I mean 12 pips or 10 pips would be fine. And you would have got your 5. Probably not quite your 10 on that one, but
But you're getting the idea now.
yeah, for the last one, that was your signal. So if this was red right here, you could just enter right here. then.
Exactly. Yep. If the hook happens on a red candle, enter on the next candle.
Yeah, and then you could definitely got your 10 on that
Right.
with being safe, obviously.
Right. So we had one loser out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trades, and you never looked at the candles. You never looked at the candles when you set the trades up. You follow me?
hmm
So once you become accustomed to looking at this stochastic in this fashion, you'll see that it can really do quite a bit for you as far as helping you find trades.
All right. All right. My question is, all right. So on like live time, right? For this one.
Yes.
So like, I'm just wondering when is it going to make this peak actually in live time? You know, because on
At
this
the-
candle,
At
on the
hook-
close, right here, this is going to be waving like up and down, right? Because it doesn't know if that
Right,
candle is
right.
going
but
north or south.
yeah, but that hook will be there.
So right when this candle closes, that hook will be there, right?
Because now that candle will be jumping up and down.
And then that's when you take your short. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Any questions on that exercise?
Not for me.
All right, good. Let's roll this up. Boy, Mike, you have no idea how lucky you are.
No, I'm quite happy to do it. It's just I can see that it's quite difficult. You're going to have to use your crosshair quite a lot of the time to see whether it's flat or going down because there's a lot of areas there. It's almost a bit too smooth, that 34, isn't it?
Yeah, but remember, what we want to catch are like once this thing curls
Yeah, I
up,
can see that. Yeah, those are good. You can see those quite easily.
that's
But
what you want.
when it starts to turn, it's kind of hard to tell where it's going up and where it's flat and where it's going down without using your crosshair, isn't it?
And what's the rule?
Use your crosshair.
No, the rule is to use your crosshair, but if you're not sure,
I'll walk away and find another pair. Yeah.
bingo, that's it. You solved your own problem. Walk away and find another pair. Because what you want, remember, it's a beauty contest, or the strongman contest, whatever you want to call it. Everybody parades up and down. They want to look their best. They want to, oh, pick me, and that's how you have to look at it. You're like a judge in a contest of some sort.
Darren will win every time then.
I'm going to make this pound yen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm going to make Daryl put Daryl on the spot. And okay, well, this is how you learn. I mean, trial by fire, See if you can pick out like the A ones, the ones that are like I'm 90% sure about this one or that one or whatever.
Is this? Am I looking at this? Oh, okay. You did change the chart.
Yeah, it's a pound yen chart now.
Okay, so I've got the mouse. Yeah, I do. Okay. Alrighty then. Well, starting on the extreme left.
Well,
then I'd have to pick.
Well, I want you to pick the A trades, the ones that look like they have the highest probability.
Oh, okay. The highest probability.
Right, based on what we've said. And I know it's a lot to remember.
All right. No, I get it there. Okay, A trades. Yeah. Actually, the closest thing I see to an A trade would be this one. And here's
why?
What I'm thinking.
Okay, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, over here, I mean, this is definitely moving up. This is a spike down, but the spike down is weak. So I would probably not like it. I mean, for that reason. I could be wrong. Over here, when this one ends, it was moving down. So actually, you know what? I would take this one too, because
right, you can't see the future, but at the moment that happened, it was moving down. Very good.
Yeah. So then on the close, but then I'm waiting for the close of this candle.
We're not looking at the candles right now. This is all you have to work with.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. So I'm marking this, but I can't enter until the close of the next candle anyways.
Correct.
By that time, it's moving up. So that would eliminate this one for me.
Nope.
Okay.
No.
No?
No.
Why not?
Because at the close of that candle, you can't see the rest of this. You're looking at the rest of this, and you can't see that.
Okay, well, the next
At the
candle.
close of this candle, yeah, at the close of this candle, this line is probably flat because it can't turn up until the next candle comes in and turns it up. And again, you have to see that on a 1 minute chart. So it's a little bit unfair to you.
Understood what you're saying, but I mean, here's this candle right here at the top, and that's where the spike comes in, and here's the next candle. So when the next candle closes, okay,
you're still down.
This line is moving up.
Yeah, but the overall move is still down because you didn't come back up above this. You're still moving down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was.
You're overthinking it. You see how fast Phil picked his? You just didn't overthink it. Just follow the rule.
So now you're beating up on me again?
Okay. No.
Oh, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay. And I don't even mean that at all. To be a beat up.
Yeah, why can't you be more like me?
Yeah.
Uh,
Off his roof.
All right. All right. Well then, okay. I wasn't incorporating that into it. So then, yeah. So then I'm going to pick this one, and then these next two. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. And yeah, I was overthinking it. And thanks for reminding me that I'm not as brilliant as it seems. So,
yeah, and you can see because it's after the fact that this is a range-bound market at the moment, but it
uh,
doesn't mean that we can't get a short trade in here with a 10, 12 pip stop.
yeah. So
You
yeah.
follow me?
Then there's a bunch of them here that we could do.
Well, I'm trying to get you to pick the ones that have like the highest probability, and you're just almost marking every one.
Okay. Well.
Well, let me take this one out, and we'll leave the ones you picked. All right, and I'll just point something out. Once we get this downturn, remember when we close below here, and we get this downturn like this, that's an established trend kicking in. So this one has some possibility. This one has some possibility. Here's this upturn. So these two, and in an uptrend, what do you have? Higher lows and higher highs. You follow me?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to put a little divergence line here to mark these two, and we'll come back to it. It doesn't mean that they're winners, okay? I'm not saying that.
Right.
And I'll put a divergence line to mark these two.
Okay.
All right, and now we'll bring this down. Okay, so here's the first one, your downward move. Okay, now the next candle wasn't a red candle, so you wait. That's a doji there. That could be a possible entry. Okay, it's within two. I would prefer a red candle, but you obviously see on either of these with a 10, 12 pip stop, you were really safe. And there's your 5 to 8 on that one. All right, now we had this one, and this happened on the red candle, so you enter here, and this didn't give you much. Oh, okay, it gave you 10. That could have been your 5. I was expecting a actual losing trade there.
Do that one again.
Okay, on this one,
Yeah.
that when the candle closed, it was a red candle to correspond with this downward slope, so you can enter on the next candle. If the
Oh,
if
even
the spike
though that
happens, go ahead.
even though the spike wasn't there until the next candle closed.
No, 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 no. Listen to me carefully. If the spike happens on a green candle and we're in a down market, you have
Uh,
to wait for a red candle on the next one of the next two candles.
uh,
You got me?
yes.
Okay, if the spike happens on a red candle, then you can enter at the open of the next candle because
But
that spike happened and it happened in conjunction with the trend. Like
but
if there was a
it
spike here, you follow me? There isn't one, but if there was a spike here, you'd have to wait for a red candle first before you could take the trade.
yeah.
So here the spike happened on the red candle. So at the open of this candle, you can take this trade.
Okay. But the
At,
spike wasn't there yet.
at the close of this candle, when this candle closes, you should have this spike here. And we'll go down to a 1 minute chart and take a look at it.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at a 15-minute chart, and when that candle closes,
Yeah, when
the
when this candle closes,
yeah,
this one should be jumping up and down. And this is fixed.
yeah,
That elbow will never move.
right,
You got me?
yes,
Mark this like that. Okay, when this candle closes, that elbow doesn't go anywhere. Now it's this candle is moving up and down from here.
right.
Is that clear? We can go down
That's
to a 1 minute and look
clear.
at it again. Okay. Um, so here was that area that we spoke about, where we have the established trend already. Here's a high and a lower high and a lower high. So in a downtrend, you have lower highs and lower lows. So this would have been, this spike happened there, the open of this candle. All right. And that
Mhm.
was your 10, your 5 or 8. Now, here's an example here. This spike happened on a green candle. In this case, you have to wait for that red candle to close. That's the difference.
Okay.
You got
Yeah,
me?
I totally understand that, but I need to
You need
I
to
need
see it.
to back this up here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay. All right. So well, let's go back. What was it?
Pick the worst case scenario.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Even
no.
if you have to
Listen.
go to a different chart, pick the worst possible thing that, you know.
Okay. Hear me out here first, please.
Sure.
Okay. So this is a red candle, and there's a spike here. Now, this spike is not set
Yes, it is.
until the close of this candle. Well, I mean, okay. So here's what I'm saying. Let's do this. All right. Here's a trend. Let's pretend this is the stochastic, right? So
Hmm.
the stochastic starts out, it's moving up.
Yeah, but that elbow right here doesn't move. This elbow, this whole line doesn't move. This entire line does not move. It moves from that elbow up and down. Go back
Okay,
to your premise.
all right, yeah. So, so what I'm saying is, at one point, there is no elbow there. We're looking at something like this,
Yeah, until the candle closes. Yeah,
Until the candle closes, yeah.
right?
there's an echo in the
So
room.
this is not an elbow at the
It's a
beginning.
it's a fulcrum.
It's a fulcrum, but the fulcrum could end up like this fulcrum right here.
Yeah,
Ends up.
but this doesn't move. That spot right there does not move. This line does not move. The same way this line won't move, but price will move with this line as the focal point. This is the hinge. Maybe that's a better word.
Yeah,
This is the hinge. It will not move. The door will move up and down. The hinge won't. And if this is the wall the door is connected to, the wall's not moving. But the
okay,
door connected to the hinge will move up and down until that candle's closed.
right.
Let's go to a 1 minute chart. And I'll mark that again so you can get an idea of what I was trying to explain. Because I prefer that you get it. Okay. So
Well,
now,
honestly, Lou, I get it, but so you're saying that just because the slow stochastic is moving up in this case, that that we can count that as a fulcrum?
no, watch when this candle closes. This is what I want you to see. Now you see how this is not moving? This line is not moving?
Yes,
This is not moving at all.
right.
So when this candle closes, this will be set on a red bar, probably. And I just moved this over one just to get it out of the way. Now, if I move this over here and get rid of this, you'll see it's the same thing. This point right here doesn't budge.
Right.
So if this closes and this doesn't budge, then we can take that set point and use it. And so there we go. So now this happened on a red candle. You got me? So I could take this short without having to wait for this candle to form. If this happened on a green candle, then I'd need for this red candle to form in order for me to take this trade.
Okay.
Now,
I'm
obviously,
still
this is a slight uptrend.
so, but I mean, but now the stochastic is pointing up.
Yeah, because it's moving on this candle. This is set. This candle is set in stone. This point right here, this hinge will never move. This line will never move. This line will never move.
Lou,
It
I
will
got
move
that
up.
point.
Right. So I'm trying to
Got the point.
understand where
Mine
you're,
doesn't move. I played with stochastics a bunch too, and I get that.
but so help me out. I mean, find another way of asking the question because I'm missing it somehow.
Okay. Well, uh, all right. Let me ask this question. okay, so just because this slow stochastic is moving down, okay, then everything, every slight hook, no matter which way it's going, is considered a potential entry.
No, you have to look at the candles and make sure you get a corresponding candle the correct
Okay,
color.
all right. Okay. So, for instance, right here, this is a hook, and it's a red candle, so I would enter in the next candle short.
You could, sure.
All right, I just had the rules thinking that you're looking for.
Yeah, and it's not, and again, this is not a hook down. I prefer this was a hook down. If this candle were a little bit shorter, it would have gave you a nice hook down, but it didn't. You
Yeah.
look here. This was a clear hook down, but gee, this was a green candle. So let's move over here because I'm trying to make sure you understand it. That's the most important part. Okay, so you see here, now this is more of like what you were saying. You see all of this is almost a straight line now.
Yeah.
This is what you were saying, but inside this straight line, you had this candle and this candle.
Right.
That may be what's throwing you off a bit. Ideally, I like to see when this candle closes, it's got a little bit of a hook on it. You know, a little downward momentum to it.
But it's not necessary, you're saying.
It's an ideal. It's an A trade if it's got the hook. Other than that, then you look at the rest of the candle formation, just see what you have.
Okay.
And you see here, we're sideways here.
Yeah.
But we don't have a hook down. We don't really have, I like to see the hook down.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what I'm looking for. That's why when you see this point happened at the close of this candle. Here we have the actual hook down. Because remember what we just saw. At this point, this candle is doing this sliding around thing.
Mm-hmm.
This candle. You got me? Once we get a nice hook down, then I feel a lot more confident in the trade. I prefer to see a hook down. If I want an A trade, that's what I want. You see we're oversold here when we made a new hook on this candle, but we didn't get a hook down until here. It didn't get a hook down until here. When the hook is down, I like it. That's what I'm looking for. There's your hook down.
Okay.
Okay, if you want an A trade, there's your hook down and it's on a red candle. You enter right now. Do not wait. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200, whatever the case is. Okay, so that's it in live time. That's the hook down I'm looking for. You got me?
Yes.
Anyone else confused with that? Because you damn near made me confused. Nancy, you got the idea? I guess okay. She's probably not around. But you see what I'm getting at here, right? Does everyone see that now?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
All right. So this hook occurred at the close of this candle. This hook was set. And now this candle is the one that's bobbing up and down off of the fulcrum. And I'm going to have to use that, or off the hinge. Come on, we got a new candle now. It's gone already. I can't do it. I wanted to slide that over. Yeah.
Grab it.
All right. But anyway, at the close of this candle, we had our hook down, and that's the one I'm looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And it was red. Sometimes it'll happen on a green candle, then you have to wait for a red candle. All right.
Okay.
And we've seen before, you don't even need the candles to be able to set up trades. And our stops are in well within reason for a 15-minute chart. On a 15-minute chart, a 15 to 30 pip stop is fairly normal. Okay, but I like to use tighter stops. Tighter the stops, you know, the better for me personally. Okay. Now, one thing I want to do is I want to, any questions on this? We're going to go back over this again Tuesday. But this will give you the weekend to throw up a bunch of charts and look around and ask questions and kind of sort through it. And don't forget your divergences. They're very powerful also for counter trend trades. So you got like this hook. And remember, you won't get this hook until this is done. And now you've got a divergence set up. Okay? If you want to take a counter trend trade. So this lends itself nicely to a couple of different things, and with the trend line breaks like that. All right. If you're looking
Yeah.
for a trend line break, this stochastic is, boy, this tree. It must be an oak tree, I guess. You guys are asking me what kind of tree it was. I meant to ask somebody, but it keeps dropping these nuts and seeds on the roof and
Acorns.
acorn. Okay, could be, yeah. Um, let me just go back to my train of thought here. Okay, so we have an upward sloping, and as long as it remains above the 50, it's upward sloping. You got me? Because it's on the 50 heading toward the 80. Sometimes it'll go above and turn right back down. That's trading. You're not going to get everything to work perfectly for you. But you will get enough opportunities to pick up some fairly easy trades along the way. And here's your trend line break. So now you've got a trend line break and upward sloping because it's above the 50 and rising. It's generally rising. And anywhere in here you had entries.
Yeah, and the candles move faster than the oscillator anyway, so yeah.
Exactly. And the oscillator can't set until the candles are done. So it's not like it can ever get away from you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um,
There's clearly something in this oscillator thing if you really understand it properly, because you know that guy, you know Woody, don't you,
oh,
Lou?
sure. The Woody CCI.
So,
Yeah. I met
CCI
him a
guy,
couple times. Yeah. No, I actually met him a few
because
times.
because he did a live seminar, didn't he? Where he had no candles on the chart. All he had was CCI, and he did 34 trades and 34 winners without seeing a candle,
There you go.
using just using his CCI stuff.
I am
Because
so glad to hear you say that.
he's got his own CCI, hasn't he?
He's got Woody CCI.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
So
I've got,
if you really understand the sort of the all the mechanics of it, you can see how you can really make this work.
oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And as I said, now I didn't know he did that with just the CCI. I'm glad to hear you say that because I thought maybe I was the only nut that would do something like that. But
No, no,
he,
he did it in
he
front of a live audience.
yeah, take any indicator and only put the indicator on the chart and try to figure out how to get trades out of it. I
Mm.
mean, you just saw Phil mark up what 6 winners out of 7 trades.
Yeah, yeah,
First time he ever saw it. You get what I mean? So it's just
yeah.
what is this measuring? And I like to know the guy that designed it, what problem was he trying to solve?
Mm.
That's how you know what an indicator is supposed to do, because he did this to solve a problem of some sort. And that's why I didn't want to get too geeky, as you know, to use Daryl's term when I was trying to explain what the percent K, percent D were and all that. But when you understand what they're trying to do, it gives you a beat on what the indicator is trying to explain to you. So like here we have this upward slope. This is what I mean. When we break from the bottom going back up again, this first one right here is good as well, let me take that back. This first one right here is high probability.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I won't say good as gold, and I started to. Now we have the downturn. This one right here is high probability
Yeah,
because now we've got the down hook.
yeah, yeah,
All right. And then this one becomes high probability. Okay, because we're in a down slope and now we're oversold in a down market.
yeah.
Um, and it's simple, but it does require a little bit of gray matter to kind of sort through some of these things.
And on a 15-minute chart, you could just take trades with a trend anyway, couldn't you?
Absolutely. Well, the other thing too you could do with the 15, I'll show you a couple of other quick things with this. Delete. Delete. Let me pick. Let's pick when it first became started heading down. No, I don't want to ideally pick one. I want to pick where we. Well, this is kind of slow moving here. That's slow moving. Oh, yeah, I'll just take a 50. That's all. All right, so that's the easiest way to do it. Here we broke the 50 here. Oh, yeah, I don't want to go too far back. You can't find it. Okay. So here the slow moving close below the 50. So I mark this. All right. And now I can go down to a 5 minute and start looking for trades down there. You got me?
Yep.
So there's our 5 minute. The higher time frame closed short. So
Yep.
now I can start looking for these short
Right.
because the higher time frame closed short. Even though this is rising, I'm going to trade this with the higher with the signal line from the higher time frame.
Yeah.
All right. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 potential winners. All right. So let's mark them. Here's the red candle, which is what we want, and we're looking for our 5 to 8. That's 19. Here's the oversold again. We got the hook down right here. There's our 5 to 19. Here's our hook again over here on the close of this candle. That's 7, but let me see. Let's call this a losing trade here. Fair enough. And here's our hook here, and then that's our 5 to 10. So in here we have 3 out of 4 winners just by following the break of 50 on the higher time frame. So that's another aspect of this that you could use. I didn't want to get into that today. I wanted to save that for the next time we got together, but that's an important thing to see also. And again, you've got your divergences. I'll get into the measuring these tops as potential stop losses also, which is another thing. When you're looking to place a stop, you can actually mark this and go at this high. So at this peak, that was the high. So if you entered here, that could be your stop.
Yeah.
Okay, and we'll touch base on that. And oh man, these people. That's my fault. I told them 10 o'clock. Let them wait. Any questions on just the basic premise, the basic setup? The recorder is on. Daryl, are you comfortable with your questions?
Yeah.
Okay. And I have to look for the indicator that gives the alerts. I'll find that, and then I'll be able to post that. Yeah, because then it makes it easy just to know that you got the crosses here. All right, so I'm gonna call it a day and try to get into the rest of my day, and we'll touch on this again Tuesday, and then maybe Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday we'll trade live with it.
Yeah, that'd be good.
All right. And we'll still keep the same goal. We want to get to our $200. Oh, I wanted to just to see if there were any divergent trades. That was the other thing. Do we have any divergences here that we could take advantage of? Let's start at the top. Nothing there. And this is that 9:30, 10 o'clock thing. But if the ranges are back to where they normally were, we may not see one.
Well, Lou, go to the EU 5-minute.
Okay, EU.
If you would have taken that, yeah, if you would have taken that red candle where you're supposed to take that short signal, the next one, the next
one
signal, no, the next signal is right at 8:30. So if you would have taken that one, it would have instantly went back on you and hit your stop loss. That's 9:30. Sorry, 8:30.
Oh yeah, I was wondering. You threw me. I said, "What is he an hour off?"
Yeah.
Okay.
No, sorry.
So,
so that's what I'm saying. Normally at 9:30, you would have taken that trade, and then you would have got stopped out on it.
Yeah. So that's that thing. Yeah, you're right. That's my 12, 14 pips. I definitely would have been popped on that. And we've got room. No. Well, here 139. I might not have taken it because that's pretty close to the 139 there.
Yeah.
Oh, no. This came back, didn't it? Let me squeeze this in. Take a look. But on that same premise, normally, that's something that I would look at. All right. But this is short, and we do have, now I can't see the future on this, so this would have been a short trade, And this is coming up a little bit. Let's take a look at the 1 minute. Yeah, but that is at 930 pocket. That's where we normally would have jumped on it. So that's a good observation. So it's something we'll just be aware of, when the stock market opens. And then here's that pattern, 1, 2, 3, and all 4 candles open and closed inside this red candle. This should give us a drop, possibly back down to this S1 here. All right. So that 9:30, 10 o'clock is something we just have to watch out for. But I don't see a divergence here that we can take advantage of.
No, I just wanted to point that out, that if we
Oh,
would have taken that in.
there actually is a divergence here. What am I talking about? From here down, we've got lower lows. And then from here up, we've got the divergence right here. See that? That's our divergence. And then we wait, and there's our candle, to go the other way. It didn't really go very far. But we do have a divergence here. And I'd be trading right into it on that candle, running right into a brick wall. So that's good eyes, good observation. Let's look at Euro Pound. Let's just see if there's any others here. We didn't get the short signal on Euro Pound, but same kind of thing. We do have a divergence. You see the lower prices, the higher oscillator.
Yeah.
Got news coming up in 10 seconds here too.
Yeah, boy, you jogged the memory with Woody CCI. I got to go back. I've got 2 or 3 of his courses. Haven't looked at him in ages.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what he rewrote when he did his own CCI, but obviously he changed some of the maths somewhere along the line, I'm guessing.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. When I find it, I'll post it in the Pip Factory room, so a bunch of other people don't come grabbing it. And there was that euro dollar. We had the 4 candles, and this came right back down to this like clockwork. Literally like clockwork, came right back down to here. We didn't jump on it. That would have been a quick 10 pips. That would have been nice. So this must be good news for the dollar. Whatever it was.
U of M sentiment came out a little bit positive.
University of Michigan. Okay, that's good. That's always a good thing.
Oh wow, it's actually huge. But here's the whole psychology of this thing. I'm looking at the news now. At 8:30, the news, it showed up as being red, but actually, in all cases except for one, or actually in all cases, it was better than the previous month. But it shows up as red.
No, red doesn't mean negative. Red means high impact, powerful.
No. I'm talking about the numbers. So it says, like 1%, 2%, that kind of thing.
Oh, okay. So you're saying the number was a negative number?
Well, then they paint it in red or green depending on whether it's better or worse than projection.
Oh, so it was a better than projected, but they painted it red.
It was better than the previous month, but less than projection.
Oh, got it. Okay, so they based it on projection then.
Well, I think this retail sales one's a little bit weird because we got the holiday season coming up, so they really expected a spike that they're not quite seeing yet because of the weather, I guess.
I think the weather, I think, would have made it better. Yeah, because more people are out.
No, but that's the thing about retail sales is that like Macy's and all that, they have all their winter gear like set up all in the front and everything, and no one's buying it because it's not cold out enough.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
weather affects retail sales massive. Same here in the UK.
Okay, gotcha. Global warming.
You get a really nice hot summer. There's nobody in the shopping malls. They're all down the beach.
Yeah, quite true.
Yeah. You get a shit summer like we normally get here in England, and the shopping malls do well.
Okay, so I'm going to say so long. That was a good observation there, Phil, on that 9:30 thing. because
Yep.
it did bite us in the ass a couple of times. So it might be something to be aware of. And again, that 3 candle pattern, this time it was 4, but all of them inside this red bar, and this came right back down to this bottom here. So that behaved the way we expected it to behave. All right, this one wasn't quite the same because this little guy wasn't about the same as these. You know, so it's good to see that the patterns that we're accustomed to looking for are behaving the way they're supposed to behave. So, all right, I will see you guys Tuesday. And if I can squeeze a Monday in, I'll do that and I'll post it in the room.
Okay, Lou, thank you very much.
All right, guys, be well.
Wait,
All right, thanks, Luke.